Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Gugu Ntini and I'm guys, I almost said I'm back with another video. Like, I don't know why I constantly have this thing in my head where I think, listen, I'm this content creator. I've been creating content. Well, it kind of does make sense because I'm always, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Anyhow, let me stop being a Popeye. Let me reintroduce myself for those that do not know me. Welcome. My name is Gugu Ntini and I am your host with the most, your host, baby. This little voice that's going to be here for I don't know how long, but we're going to be creating content. We're going to be pushing content for young people. We're going to be making a difference in another person's life with this podcast. And yeah, so let me introduce the podcast. Welcome to For the Youth, by the Youth, a podcast that aims at empowering us, the youth, and each week we'll be sitting down, sharing knowledge with other content creators, other designers, other poets, other writers. Listen, you name it. Any creatives, any upcoming young somebody who thinks they're doing something amazing and they want to be heard, and this is the platform that we're going to be giving people a space for them to share their ideas, not share their ideas, but to share their knowledge on what they're doing and teach somebody something. And I give you, my listener, very warm welcome and thank you for joining me today on episode 1 of my first podcast segment. I've been initially I didn't want to do a get to know me tag. Is that what they call it? I think that's what they call it. A get to know me tag. I initially wanted to just get straight into the whole podcast thing, but I realized that I got a lot of people asking me, "Ayo, what's your podcast gonna be about? Ayo, what are you doing on your podcast? What is For the Youth, by the Youth about?" So, oh yes, and why I've been getting questions like, what is For the Youth? What is For the Youth, by the Youth about? Why are you doing it on YouTube? Why aren't you doing it on Apple Music, on Spotify, on those other music platforms? Why are you doing it on YouTube, right? So I'm going to be answering all those questions and alongside of my interests, and I'll just be talking, chit-chatting with you guys. I'm giving you guys a little overview, a little sharing ideas that are in my head with you guys, and I hope you guys really do enjoy it. But before we get into this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me what you enjoyed most about this podcast. And yeah, let's get into this podcast. So basically, I am an upcoming creative. I look at myself as a creative, somebody who creates, who just comes up with ideas, and I think that's what a creative is. That is my understanding of a creative. I stand to be creative, and I've just always enjoyed talking, and I've always enjoyed talking with a purpose. I've just really enjoyed engaging with people. I've really just always enjoyed talking with purpose, talking with reason, and not just talking just for the sake of talking and just but I've always wanted to talk with purpose, and that's why I'm like, you know what, let me incorporate things that I love. Because initially I had a YouTube channel, but I this one weird morning I woke up, I'm like, you know what, let me create this channel. I create everything for it. Fine, I didn't release the link, and I think this was May 2020, and I'm like to myself, you know what, I'm tired of complaining. My hustle, nobody's gonna sit down and my hustle's not just gonna come out of nowhere. My hustle's just not gonna, you understand? And I'm just like, let me start jotting down ideas. And I had the name, and then I was listening to a podcast, and I'm like, let me also do a podcast because I love talking. And I don't necessarily want to show my face as yet because I'm very camera shy, and as time goes, y'all will see my face. Y'all really will see my face or whatever. But yeah, I decided, let me do a podcast on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And I'm like, let me just incorporate ideas and things that I love doing. And I'm like, I love talking with purpose. I love helping other people be better people. And I love helping people just do something with themselves, not just sit at home. So I'm like, let me incorporate everything I love into one thing and push it onto something I think could help somebody and motivate somebody, a young grade 7 Gugu wanting to do YouTube, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. What are people gonna think? Listen, this is the podcast for you. This is the podcast for you to listen to. You can literally listen to this thing over and over and over and over again, because I hope this helps a young Gugu figure out what they want to do with themselves, right? And basically, I learned about YouTube in 2016, where I was watching a few content creators at the time. There was still just little YouTubers, little, there were still little characters, and they were still trying to find themselves in their feet and everything, and I genuinely liked what they were doing, because number one, they were being themselves. Number two, they were just being so authentic, and they were doing something different, and I was just like, I really, really like this. But at that time, I didn't think someone like me, a lousy Gugu, would just be like, hey yo, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I never thought that I would be that person. And as time went by, I saw people starting to do YouTube. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually a real thing. People actually do this. It's not just for people who are in the US. Everybody can do it. I can take my camera, speak, click, upload this video, and people could listen to it. And that is the aim with For the Youth by the Youth, is where you create content and you don't think it's good content, but someone else out there finds your content motivating. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me try this thing. That's how I learned about YouTube. That's how I thought maybe if I do YouTube and incorporate everything I love into this one segment of my channel. By the way, there's going to be more coming for this channel. We're not just doing this podcast, but doing 1,000 million other things. And yeah, I genuinely love talking to people, and I love motivating people. And I know that somebody out there has a story that wants to be heard, that needs to be heard. That story that could also push a young child out there to be somebody better, a young child who thinks they're not good enough because their friends think that no, you're not good enough, oh my gosh, you can do better, and but you don't understand the potential you have and how much potential you're sleeping on if you're not necessarily taking charge of your own life, and you're not doing something great with yourself, and you're just like, no, you know what, nah, I'm not gonna do this thing because people are not gonna like me. Oh my gosh, you find somebody really likes what you're doing. You find somebody really finds maybe that short form that you're doing very interesting. Maybe somebody finds that little business, that little t-shirt designing business that you're doing, or maybe finds that little story, that short story that you wrote very interesting, or finds even those camera shots that you took the other day out of nowhere, more spacing, and you're like, oh my gosh, these are weird, but you release the content and people are like, oh my gosh, I really, 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 really like this. And you're motivating somebody, and you're not necessarily fully aware of your potential, but you have it. And as much as this is why I thought a podcast would be meaningful. I want this podcast to be a space for people to come and talk about their creative journeys, tell us what they're doing. If they have if they have like a small business, come onto our show, tell us on how your story started, because obviously before you start doing something, there is a background story. Tell us that story. That is what I would love to give out to other people. As much as I'm doing this for myself and me enjoying it and me loving it, I'm also trying to help somebody out there find themselves, be a better person. Podcasts like For the Youth by the Youth is basically going to create a space for meaningful conversations, and to create a space for upcoming creators to tell us their story, like I said. And if you think I'm talking to you, you young creative, you young netball player, you young hockey player, you young sports player, and you think, I have a story that maybe could push some grade 5 student who thinks they're not good enough to go for netball trials or hockey trials, hit me up, message me on my social media platforms. I will leave my social media platforms down below in the description box. Oh my gosh. Down below in the description box, and as well as I will have a little slideshow of my contact details, and where you can email me, DM me on Instagram, and as well as on Twitter. And if you're a young creative and you're like, no, Gugu, on your show, I want to tell people my story, I feel like I have an interesting story, listen, hit me up with tell me what you do, let me see your content. If I find your content fire and if I find your story fire, I will get back to you and we will do something amazing with this amazing young talent that you have. And I would love to say thank you so much for everybody who's been supporting me and showing me love. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Listen, again, and y'all make me want to push my hustle even more, and y'all make me enjoy what I'm doing. And that is all from me, your host. Thank you for joining me on this episode, on this first episode of For the Youth, by the Youth, a podcast that aims at empowering us, the youth, and sharing content and ideas. Bye, guys. I enjoyed this.